Hi, everyone. Yeah, Dark Souls free music. I love it so much. It's more epic than it has any right to be. Okay, so let's start this live stream programming. Um, Let me just make the music a little bit quieter, even. Okay. So I set up everything, probably. This is the wrong window. This is also, here we have it. So this is what I set up in Figma. I just want to showcase it a little bit. Here I have a simple login page. The login page we will create a little bit further in. This is something that needs a little more effort because login is important and data security is important, so we have to build it later on. But I have created this simple, let's see if I can do this, this simple edit page thing where you have basically a few steps here and there. Basically, you click on the home link, on the page link, you get the basic information. Then you can add content to the page over here. Here is if we add a new element to the page. Here's the content edit mask. Okay. And additionally, we have a content edit mask. So this is entirely for creating new content articles, content items. It's pretty simple. I'm going to explain everything as we program them in. Here I am on. Yeah. I think I'll explain everything when we get into the actual building process of this thing. I just found it important to show you. We are going to expand this. These four icons at the top mean new page. The second one is edit content. This is going to be a image upload system where we will get where people can upload images and store them on the server. And this is going to be localization where people can localize texts to make multi-language web pages. So these two features I will update, but for now it's imperative that we start with the basic structure of everything, and this will take a few streams to build. So I guess we have our work cut out for us. So what I want to first do here is, let me go over here. This is a basic API created with Visual Studio, C# and .NET. This is just a basic AI. It does basically only one thing. It serves an index file to localhost. I did use Figma. Figma is let me get back to it. Figma is a processing tool and wireframe and prototype tool for web pages, and it's actually pretty cool. I like to use it. I have used it on a web page for one of my clients before. It's a pretty cool concept, and you can make pretty much everything. Also, the coolest part about Figma is if you go into here and go into inspect, you actually get it actually spits out the CSS attributes you need for that element. So you can just copy that and basically be done with it, which is relatively cool. We probably won't use it because I wasn't pretty exact in building it. So we need a few different CSS attributes, but okay. So let's get back to the application. As I said, it serves a static index, index HTML file that is here in our client app folder. This one. This one is it's a normal index file that gets served out. Nothing special, but it does the job. And what we use for our frontend is a framework called React.js. What you see here is basically the hook, the div where the application will render in, and just a script block where our React.js will render the script. And now we go into the JS code a little bit deeper. This is the same file, just different application. It's Visual Studio Code that I actually like to. It's pretty cool for creating JavaScript apps. It's pretty cool. I use it only for JavaScript apps. It's pretty powerful actually, and it's free, which is the best part. Here we see the same index file, but we are going to go into a little bit into the building process. As you see, there's a lot going on here. What we do is bundling together. You don't need to know everything that goes on here. It's basically a web page, a Webpack environment. The whole thing does, basically, it listens to this command, which is somewhere around here. Exactly, this here. This basically packages everything in our JavaScript code and creates one single JavaScript file. That is this one. As you see, there's a lot going on, but it basically bundles it together into one file, and we can access our code by calling the app name in a script block, basically. And for production, we have a minified file that looks like this, which is just everything bundled together in a minified version, so it can be served easier via web pages. Okay, so where we start, it basically starts here in this component. This is the base component. I already set this up, and here's the thing. There's the init block. It initiates, and at the end it says react.dom.render. That means it's going to render in this selector that I set up. So this is the selector in the index of the index file, this one. And basically what it does, it renders this HTML code into that index file. And here we get into components in React. React works by components. So what you basically do is you have these components. For example, here a simple routing component that I already set up. It basically does. It is a, how do you call it in English? It's a child of React component. And basically everything it does, it just sets up a router that it will then will just call certain routes when you select a certain thing, a certain URL. That's all it does. I'm going to get into router a little bit later on because we are going to build different routes for different things we need and how to get properties of these routes and how to extract certain URL parts of the routes. But all it does, this is the component, and by importing it into this file, as you see here, I import this component and I can call it like this and pass the settings to it. This is the settings which is defined in the base config over here that I set up. These are some base settings that I use across all of my applications. Actually, we need to change a little bit. Good thing I have it here. We need to change the localhost. And I think that's it. Let's save. Screw this. And I need to change it over here in the domain part. Good. This is the local host that the index.html file is served under, which does this. I'm going to switch back. Which is basically what Visual Studio does. It creates a localhost server that serves the index.html file, and you can actually, if you execute it, as you see, I've executed it already. It does this. That is the localhost window that we already set up. All it does is basically render one simple text to the application. That's all we set up for now. So we're going to start by creating new components. So let me get back to this. I hope I've set it up. It's a lot of windows that I need, but I think we'll manage. So we create a new file. What we call this component is page edit.js. So we're basically getting my shortcut mixed up. We're just copying this code because we need most of it already. Page. Oh wow. Last page edits. We don't need this, and we clear out the render function. So that's our base component. And let's see. As you can see here. Oh wow. I need to find better buttons. This doesn't work. But the application builds automatically. So basically every time I make a change, the application builds automatically. So I don't have to refresh the page every time, which is a really cool touch. So we're going to set up a little bit of this. So we return class name, just a simple div with page edit, text or something, to see if this works. Just a second. I need to include you in this. Just a simple, doesn't do much, but it works. And now we can go into routing. and basically import page edit. Does it automatically usually. And instead of this text, we are going to page edit. We pass the settings to every component because every component needs access to the settings. So okay. And as you can see, that is going to happen, isn't it? Okay. As you can see, it displays now the text of page edit. So what we do now is go back to our Figma file, which is over here, I guess. Okay. First, we need to look into how we break this up into components. That's pretty important. Basically, you go over this, you see there's a header, there's a sidebar, and there's a content page. So these are already free components that we can use in our quest to build this. So what we do now is start with the header. We're going to build a... This header is going to be displayed on every page. As you can see, every page has a thing. So it has multiple uses. It's going to be used on every page. So we create a new folder. Let me get this. I'm going to create a new folder called elements or something. And we're going to have a new file called header. And we do the same. We copy this. It's easier to copy than writing everything new. So here we're going to start giving things classes to use our CSS files to manipulate the look of it. Let's get into page edit first. Trilightning CMS. Page edit. Let's do it like this. And do the same for our header. Call this header. And we render nothing in it for now. Here we do the same. We're going to import header. And use our header. Okay. Good. So as you can see, we render nothing. So let's go back to just a second to this one and see nothing. Isn't that exciting? Okay. Next we go into components. Let me just set this up. So next we're going to set up our CSS system. I'm going to explain it a little bit. It works on the same principle that the JavaScript works. So basically, the Webpack file does the same thing as it does with JavaScript. It bundles it and moves it into these CSS files together. And here we have our CSS system down here. As you can see, I already included a few files into this, but we're going to create a new one called header.scss, and define our class. And like this, and we give it a background color of this. Let me just check. We have our colors defined here. The special CSS file that just defines variables of colors. So this is basically what I use for my website as colors. This is my primary gray color and the yellow font color. We're going to add a few more colors later. Okay, we're going to define background color a width of 100%. So we want to have full width. And a height of, what do we have here in this Figma file is height of 80. We can use that 80 pixel. And go back to browser. Let's see why this doesn't work. Oh yes, I forgot. We need to import this file that we created. Component header.scss. Okay. Just a second. This should work. Okay. Let's go back into code for now. I need to include this over here, and it should actually generate it. There's a ton of stuff that shouldn't be here. Let me check everything. It's just the worst if you have problems with setting up everything. Let's try this. Did I write it wrong? Or maybe... Okay. Let's delete this and create a new. I'm not sure what's wrong right now. Programming be like that some days. So. For some reason, my playlist just wants me to listen to Nears now, so it's pretty chill. I don't get why not getting served the problem. Edit, header. No. Let me check something. This S file. Okay. It works now. For some reason, my console didn't want to tell me that I needed an additional slash here and it can't load the file. That's nice. So what we should be able to see now is just this bar across this whole entire thing. We're going to look into how to make that full page size right now. As you can see, I'm using the inspector of the browser to look into it. So we're going back to updating our CSS components. Basically, this thing here is the source of our problems because I didn't set it up properly. Nice. We're going to get rid of everything in here. We don't need that. These I can leave. And these can go. This is our base CSS. These are standard CSS attributes that should be common across all of the application. And because I didn't set it up properly or look into it and changing it, it screws up everything. So, good work. Let me see if there's something else here that screws this up. Display. Audio build. Oh, okay. We need to keep the breakpoints for now. Okay. And I didn't include the colors for some reason. Now we're talking. So, another thing I need to set up is the body. Because here's the thing. For some reason, in all browsers, the body has a padding of 8 pixels. Which is so weird. It is the same thing across all browsers. I'm going to... Let me check this first if this works, but the body needs to... Oh, it's a margin, not a... I lied, it's not a padding, it's a margin. So... Okay. We're going to add this to the index file. Or we could add it to the CSS. Let's add it to the CSS. Here, I need to justify the body has a margin of 0 pixel. That should work. Let's do this. And here we go. Let me show it. That took quite some effort for a single bar. But things should go far more smoothly than now that I've set it up properly, hopefully. So next up, we're going to create the header component. So inside this header component, we are going to create a few more divs. Class name, and let me look at my Figma file. First, we need to create the headline. We're going to make it a H1 title. And then we are going to create the edit buttons. So the H1 just will read Trilightning CMS. We're going to add this into our localization feature later. The texts we can just set up as dummy text for now. And in the edit function, we want to create 4 buttons. So let's format this button. Okay. And for each of these buttons, we need an icon. What I use for icons is a free font icon from Google. That's going to be used across all my applications because it's free and it covers most icons you need. I can show you in the browser. This is the Google icon font. You can search for icons here pretty cleverly. You can just search for, now we need a star icon. And we get basic star icon, and you can see you just need to insert it like this into your code to get it to work. So let's go over here and go back to our code. What we just do here is write star. And we do this with the other icons as well. Supposed to be an edit icon. Edit. What have we? Oh yeah, the image and the Hope I haven't muted myself for too long. Hello? Okay. Next up, we're going to give these icons a new class. So let's get into it. And look at these icons, and we're going to... Let me take you with me. Just use icon edit as a class. So we can manipulate these icons more efficiently. Here we go. Okay, then we put here the icon edit class. And we want to change the font size. 32 pixels and color to the primary gray. Okay. 32 pixels is not enough, not by a wide margin. Let's see. 64 is too much. Three, 60. 60 seems okay. Okay. Let me check back in with the font size of 60 pixels. Okay. Another small thing we want to do is give the icons a pointer cursor. We want to give people the illusion that these icons are clickable. So obviously we're going to use a cursor of pointer. And we're done. As you can see, or you can see, now you can see, these icons appear clickable now, which is a good touch. Okay. So we now have created the header pretty convincingly with just a few touches. The icons will do more later on. I'm going to put them at top, different tops. Move them a little bit down. These icons, we are going to add JavaScript events later that do something. But for now, they are just there as decoration. And next thing we're going to do is we go back into our page edit and we create a new component. So let's create a new component. This component will be available only for page edit. That's why I create a new folder, new file called page3. Let's do that again. New file page tree JS. And let's copy this stuff. Page tree. And we can remove most of the content here. Call this CSS class page tree. Okay. Good. Now we need a little bit of content. We're going to set up most of the content in here. Let's see. I'm going to use a div. Class name. Okay. Let's do another page tree and call this inner. Definitely need more classes. And make a dummy element for now. Okay. So we made the header. It might be a little bit too big. Not digging the too big buttons. We might change the size of the header later. But first off, we're setting up the page tree exactly like this. What we're going to use here is called Bootstrap. If you haven't looked at Bootstrap yet, it's a grid system for web applications or HTML that uses a grid system, a flex grid system with different column sizes. The entire width of the content is column 12, and you can divide it up like that and create applications that are responsive to any width you want using Bootstrap, which is incredibly helpful. And we're going to use that. As you see, I've already included it in here. So we're going to call this page edit, content. And we're going to create two columns. They are, let's say, 4 and 8. 4. Give it a class. Page edit, content, page tree, and copy this. We're going to make 8. And we're going to call this class page content. Okay, so inside this thing, we are going to include our page tree. So we're going to import our page tree and put it here. with our settings intact. Change that. Okay. For now, this should be enough. As you can see, it's creating the page tree component. We can't see the bootstraps effect yet until I add a new color to it, which I'm going to do now. But first, we need that color. Let's see. In our colors file. We're going to call this background gray medium. Okay. So now we need a new component in our CSS. Going to call this page tree. And we have the same thing, Trilightning CMS. And we need to get into our page tree. I don't know if this is exciting or not, but I want it to be as chill as possible, so it doesn't really matter. Also, if anyone listening has questions, just ask. I'm commenting on it all the time. I'm just commenting right now what I'm doing, but I don't mind having a chat about something different as I create this. Okay. No. And we have page, I think. In our page, okay. Good. The page tree itself gets the background color of the background gray medium that we used before. It will be this. And let's not forget to import the page tree again. Slash components page tree. I hope I can get more confident in the future to present this stuff better. I hope it works out so fine so far. So what we're basically going to do is let me check something. Okay. And for now, we are going to set the page tree at a minimum height of 1200 pixels. We just want it to reach towards the end of the page. And as you can see, that's enough to just look at the bootstrap thing. It's like, what is column 4? Column 4 is like a third of the page, so 33% or something. So that's what we are going to do from now on, is using Bootstrap to build these pages. Okay, there's already a lot going on now. Okay, let's return and get into the page tree some more. We want the page. First off, let's give the inner element a padding of like 12 pixel or something. Okay, and the page is going to be, I don't know, has a margin of 24. And I think in our Figma file it had a white color. It needs to be bigger font size. Definitely. And it needs to have a font family of Arial. Because Times New Roman just looks ugly. Anyone who disagrees, it's just ugly. Going to give it a top margin. That happened. Okay. Let me set this up. Okay, I hope this still works. Nope, it doesn't. I just ended my window. Let me set this up for you. Okay, here we go. So basically, we're now already seeing similarities to the Figma file. A little bit. Not much. Okay. Good. Now we just need to set up our content. Going to be a little bit difficult because we are using dummy data for now. We're not using real data, so I'm just going to create a simple content page based on what we already have. But here's the thing. Content is incredibly difficult to work with. especially forms. I usually want to create better forms, but it's going to be pretty complex. Usually I use forms in sort of with a JSON file that just renders the form for me. And we're going to set that up right now. I think we have still time to set up the basics. So let's do that right now. This is going to be incredibly difficult. I'm going to create a new file in our config folder that I just call pageform.json. So we want a JSON file. And this is going to take a little bit. Let's make this an array. And we use the Figma definition we have beforehand. Let me add a little bit more to it. We're going to section this thing up as well. So we have, let's call this sections. And use this label. Basic information. And set up this form field, sort of fields. Call it field. And this is an array where we input our fields. Here we have, let's give this an ID. Page ID, this is going to get used later on for storing or sending the data to the backend. So we have an ID, we give it a label, call it page title, page ID. Give this a type. Type is pretty important. We're going to use read only, and that's it for now, I think. Oh, we need a value. Okay, yeah, that's correct. We need a value. Just now, let's call this. Let's put in some random stuff as value because we are filling this later on. This is going to get filled by the database later on. This value field. Okay. So if you're asking where I'm drawing this from, this is basically here. From the Figma file, this is this field at the top. This is the section of basic information, and this is page ID. It's a read-only. It's assigned by the backend when a page is created. So we have it as read-only. So that's where it comes from. I think for the next stream I need a dual setup where I can set both at the same time. Okay, but let's go on. We're going to input all of these fields for now. Let's copy this a few more times. This is going to be title and page title. Type in this case is text. and value is empty for now. Let's set the value to the things we have in the Figma file. And this is the page URL. And label is page URL as said. Type is alt text. Text. And URL is /home. Next ID is processed URL. This is also read-only. Basically a link to the build URL of the page. So basically the user can go in and basically click this link to get to the correct page. Then we have two new types that are a little bit different. We have show navigation, which has show in navigation. Okay. And this one is not a read-only, it's a yes-no. Let's not call it yes-no, let's call it a radio button or radio short. And it doesn't have a value. It has a buttons value. Let's also make this an array. This is also an array, and it's going to be having two buttons. In this case, with the label, okay. Let's call this yes, and check, which is true. And let's use the same thing for no, but check this false. We're going to implement the system later. Also, this needs to be, these sections need to be also an array, because we're going to have more sections. Just a second. Here we go. We're going to have more sections later. For now, I want to just write the processing method for one. This is a process I set up for most of my forms because it's so incredibly easy to edit. Like, you just need to go in. Basically, when the render function is set up, you just go in, you just add a new field or take a new field or take a field out, and it's gone. Like, it's done. You don't need to do anything else. The render function works automatically, which is a really cool touch, and I use it for most of my applications. I decided in this application to just copy what I already done, so I can set it up properly for this application. So what we want to do now, we have written this page form, JSON config file. What we want to do now is basically load this file. So basically we go in here, we import, just a second, here. You already see we have already imported one config file. We can import here the page form from config page from JSON. Okay. And we are going to add this to the settings. This is the base config, page form, this page form. Sections. Okay. So in all of our in our page content elements, we can then basically access this via the settings, which is pretty good. Okay, we're going to create a new file. Page contents, JS, and we're going to use this router. Why is there a router in it? So page content. Obviously, we need to change this. Now we go into the page tree. In the page edit and add our page content. We're here. First included. Page edit, page content. Okay. Okay. Now that we have set up page content, we need to render this thing. So I'm going to page form is this dot settings page form. Let's look at our application. There shouldn't be anything on there. As you can see, nothing done yet. What we now do is, now this is getting a little bit advanced. We're going to check first off. Let's do something differently. Let's use page content. We have used section already. Label. Okay, we need to make a first check if sections exists. So basically, and which one? So this is a basic React if statement. React uses if statements like this. to in the render function, which is pretty neat. So if it exists, this is what we want to render. If not, if it doesn't exist, we want to render nothing, obviously. And now we can use make this div a inner class. Inner, okay, and here we can build our content headline. So we use content headline. Or no, let's not call it headline. Let's call it drop down or something like that. A lot of this is subject to change later. So what we need to do now is to render page form dot label. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. No. Let's remove this. Since we have an array in our page form, as I said, this is going to be complicated. This is our page form. This is an array. We need to render each section as an array. So basically, we go page form map, and we call this section index and make this a function. So it basically is a for loop or something that iterates over the array, and we return with our div that we had before. Second. This should work now. Hopefully. Let's see why it doesn't. Page contents. Inner. Drop down. Oh yeah. Obviously, we need to render section.label. That's obvious. It's an obvious mistake on my part. So if we go back to our page, it renders the label. What could be harder? Obviously, rendering the fields is going to be a lot harder. So, content drop down. So let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. We need another wrapper for this. Content header. And this is going to be the content fields. But we need another wrapper around here, obviously. we're going to give everything a class in this application. Doesn't matter if we are actually planning to do something with it. I just like giving everything its own class. Let's call this content. So in this field section, we need to what section? The fields one section dot fields dot length is larger as 0. So if the section does have fields, we're going to render them. Why can't I? Here. Okay. So we're giving this another div. And in here we're going to map another array. Fields. Map. Fields and index. Let's call this field index. Okay. So what we need to do now is we return something. We just return a single div that is going to get passed a function. Render fields, field index. This is something that's possible. You can pass functions in the render. And there's something wrong with the structure. Let me check. This div matches this. Matches. I think that's one too much. No. Huh? This is weird. Am I missing something? this one. This one corresponds to this one corresponds to this one. Something in here not working. Render field. Okay. I don't get it. Take certain sections out to see if this works. Debugging is never easy with this line of work. Oh, I see the problem now. Okay. This is the closing diff. Obviously this doesn't work and produces an error because we haven't set up the render field method. And in here we're going to render field index. The thing we're going to do here is you can do the same thing as you do with down here with just a return and just render a div structure. But this is going to be a little different because we're going to use a little trick. Obviously we have given these fields a type, so what we're going to do is we are going to create a switch statement. I love switch statements. I rarely get to use them, but I love switch statements. So we have case, read only, and each case gets a different function. And break. Next. You can mostly copy this stuff. And I think so far we have 3 fields, so we're going to go radio. Radio button. Okay. And default, which we don't usually need, but default is going to be text fields. I just know switch statements usually ask for default. So this function does nothing than sending just two different functions based on the type of field. Now we need to create all of these functions. Here we go. Render read-only field. We're going to get the same field index. Render text fields. That's the same. And render radio button. Same. Okay, so we're just going to return for now with the text. Just with the simple text as dummy. And radio. What is going on again? Never easy with this stuff. Okay. I made the same mistake twice, obviously. Let's see if it runs. Does. But doesn't show it yet because HID. Please read only. Sure how direct this thing is. goes into this function. Weird. Let's look at this a little bit closer. Why don't we? Doesn't it render the text? Okay. And let's just render field.label. That is so weird. Why does it do that? Okay, I'm going to figure this out for next time. I think this is where we'll end the stream for today. Next time we're going to continue with this. We're going to actually write the fields out. I want to write the fields out and then give everything a little bit of function. You know, give everything their functions so that it's clickable and creatable. I think we've gone for almost 2 hours. I think that's enough. Okay. So, if you enjoyed this, just leave a like and subscribe or something. Not really used to streaming, but I think I'll manage to get better and more professional at it. Maybe I'm going to cut down the setting up things and go straight to something more exciting, because this is all set up for the future, and just cutting down on it might be interesting. I want this to be as laid back as possible for you, and for me, just to relax, have some good music in the background, just relax and build this type of thing. Not sure what needs to be changed, but debugging is never fun, so maybe we just talk about something else while I debug stuff. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and good night.